Hello everyone, it's James here at Full Fat Motors. Today's episode is something a little bit different. I'm going over to custom coach trimming in Evesham and I'm going to introduce you to Chris. Chris has done some really good work for me on a few different cars, including this Jaguar XKR, where he redid the headlining for me. In today's episode, we're going to do a little tour of his workshop and also walk through the process of retrimming a Range Rover seat. This is Chris at Custom Coach Trimming. Say hello, Chris.
How you doing?
So we're here in Chris's workshop this morning just to have a chat about some of the things that Chris is up to. We've got a Range Rover seat over there, which we'll put some shots on the screen of the work that Chris has done. So, Chris, do you want to talk us through what you've got going on at the moment? You've got some pretty awesome leather work happening here.
Yeah, well this is partly the original seat out of the Bentley that's in the corner, which has had lots of work done to it. It's had a roof chop. It was obviously a four-door car with a pillar.
Oh, wow.
So we would have had a B-post that was here, and the door would have been there, and that would have been a door.
Oh, crikey.
So that door's now been stretched, that door's been cut down, that door's been welded solid, it's now pillarless. It's been roof chopped. I think the screen's been slightly raked back.
Amazing.
The body's been channeled over the chassis so it sits lower, and obviously it's on air ride.
So, Chris, what Bentley was this? What was the original type of Bentley?
That I don't know. I know a lot about hot rods and American cars, but Bentleys and Rolls Royces I know nothing about.
No, fair news. Because I know you're sort of known for hot rods and stuff, and I when I saw this the other week, I had just assumed that it was an American style hot rod.
Yeah, it's sort of, the look is based on like the way they would have been, like the 1949 Mercuries would have been done, which is like the lead sled sort of look.
Yeah.
So this is, the guy who owns it worked for Rolls Royce and Bentley, so that's
nice.
his sort of twist, because he's a hot rodder.
Yeah.
Worked for Rolls Royce, so decided that he would put a bit of a mix in it.
Very cool.
So obviously the whole of the inside is all built from scratch, because nothing is the same, so all the panels have been built from scratch. Designed by me, put together by me, all the carpets all been handcrafted, headlining's all been built and redesigned from how it should be. That's all done in Alcantara.
That is stunning.
So
was that quite tricky to get that kind of effect, that sort of...
Yeah, because again, there's so much detail that goes into it on making sure that each one of these flutes are like 3 inches, because there is a curve, so the distance from here to there on the outside and the middle is different, even though they are all 3 inches because of the way the curve is. So the back window frame is all made from scratch. The whole roof is all made from scratch. 4 meters of Alcantara. Visors all done in Alcantara. And then,
very nice.
And then 4 cows, stroke hides of leather to do
Four
the
hides.
interior. So that the back seats are all made from scratch because that's all different. So I've completely handcrafted this seat. This is all made from scratch. And then I've shaped all the foam to give that shape, and then drew out the design that we've agreed on.
Yeah, very nice.
So once I've drawn it out on there, then I can then piece together.
How do you go about shaping foam like that? What's the process that you follow there?
Basically you can, I've got a bandsaw for cutting wood, and I've also got like another handsaw, so you can basically get a block of foam and draw on it and carve it, and then you can actually sand it just like you would do with wood, but it sands down quite quick. And then it's just got a liner over the top just to keep it all smooth.
Yeah, very nice.
And I should be like cutting channels into these points here, so the stitch lines get pulled into situation. This is why I've just cut these rods, so those rods will be curved. They'll be put into there. They'll be threaded into cover that's on the machine at the moment being sewn up. Yeah. They will go into there and then pull into there to give the shape.
And we were just talking about this hide type. So this is a Ferrari colour.
Ferrari beige, yeah.
Ferrari beige. Yeah, it looks very smart, that.
And then Alcantara. Yeah. Just small little accents which are just on the backs of the front and rear seat, and then just like the hockey stick design on the door panel as well.
And you were saying that you were trying to talk the customer out of that colour. What would you have put in?
I'd have gone for sort of a green colour, really.
Sort of green leather.
Yeah, sort of slightly darker than this, maybe. But customer's car, customer money.
Yeah, definitely.
Customer's always right.
Customer's always right, absolutely. I know that much.
Yeah, I know.
So big question, what engine's going in it? Is it the original Bentley 6 3/4?
No, it's definitely going to be an American V8.
V8,
so I think it's a big block V8 going in it.
Yeah, super. And we were also just talking about this bench. This is not for the Bentley, is it? This is something else.
No, this is for the Bentley.
Oh, right, okay.
As far as the backs are concerned, they're exactly as the Bentley would have been. But this has had to be changed because the floor is a lot higher.
Yeah.
So this base, again, is all built from scratch. As you can see, the car's on air ride. So I'm actually crafting this armrest with the air ride controls in there. So that'll sit in there, that's routed in there for the cable, so that can just be hidden out the way, and then, you know, it's all out the way and still as it would be with the armrests.
Yeah, very smart. Very, very smart. And air ride, is that something that you're putting in?
No, I'm just that's all I'm doing. Yeah. I don't get, I mean, I do air ride for myself personally on some of my cars, but this is what the customer's done anyway, so it's, I'm just fitting all the components for it to work.
Very smart. And then moving on to the Range Rover seat, we did a very quick film of this, it was on one of the shorts actually, of the piping that's been replaced. So that is the piping that has been replaced. And
just for that little bit of damage.
A bit of damage, yeah. So we'll put the sort of process that Chris followed to repair that seat.
Okay, I've got this Range Rover seat. Needs a repair doing here. Might look like a small job, but everything has to be stripped off. So headrest out, cover completely off, strip right down to the bare foam and frame. Need to match this to make new piping. Luckily, I have all this stock, and this is the correct colour here. Some bike seats in the background. All the components are taken off. Some of the tools needed: Torx 15, 20, 25, 30, screwdriver, trim tool and a little pick. First to be removed are the side trims here with Torx, side pieces and the electrics. Armrest comes off. There's a 30 torque there that you just need to squash the foam down just to get at it. These pieces here are what lock the headrest in, so they just need to be prized off because it's electric headrest. So they prise off there, which are clipped onto there. But to do that, you have to remove that panel there, 2 Torx on the end of there. That will then come off. So all the pieces removed. Now ready to take the cover off. The foam and cover will come off as one off the frame. And then to remove the cover, it's fixed on with hog rings just there. So I will show you how the hog rings go back on when it goes back on, but as far as cutting them, it's just a case of getting in there and snipping them. And then once all they're removed, I'll be stripping the cover down of its stitching. That is the cover stripped down of its stitching, so each individual stitch is cut away. All the loose pieces taken out so it doesn't show when it gets stitched back up. All this just for that little bit there. So piping cord is taken out, but before I did all that, I always have to put marks married up to the other side so that when I stitch it back together, it goes back together exactly where it was supposed to be. Here's the new vinyl cut, 1.5 inches wide. I'll be using this piping cord. I have got 3 different thicknesses of piping cord to make the piping, but this is the one that is the right thickness for this here. James will be getting this professionally recolored after, just because this is a bit manky. But while I'm here and it's stripped down, I'm gonna just, with some dye, I'm gonna fill that with dye anyway, so when they come to mask it up, they don't have to get too close to the piping, so it will just help when that gets done later on. I don't do this as a rule normally much, but I do keep some leather dyes in stock just for tiny little repairs, which we'll be bringing this back together. All I'm doing is just dabbing it into the cracks just to build it up a bit. Like I said, this won't be perfect and it will get done properly later on. This is the first process of making the piping, which is a case of the piping cord to be wrapped around inside the vinyl to create that sort of tadpole piece sort of shape, and it's then stitched with a special foot. It's got that channel in it there which lets it make the piping for you as such. So it just rolls along there and keeps it guided for you. Now the thread that I will be using, got different threads. This is a thin thread which is a 40, and then the heavy duty stuff which is a 20. But with this one, because along the line of where it is has the airbag tag, when you see that airbag tag, that means that the stitching all along there is not done in a 20, it's not done in a 40, it's done in a special airbag thread, which when the airbag is deployed, it breaks the stitching, and that's what allows the airbag to come out of the seat. If this was to be stitched with a heavy duty thread, they say that the airbag won't split the stitching, but there's a lot of red tape on that one. I think it would do, but I'm using the proper thread, so I know that if the airbag does go off, then that's going to come out. Process of the piping being made, pipe and cord inside, folded in half, and let that curve of the foot guide it to where it needs to be. There you go, perfect piece of piping. Now we're installing the pipe into the seat, so that's a new piping on the first panel. These white marks, I've done those on the top, which replicated the marks I made earlier. Just makes it easier when I put this panel on top of here. It's easier for me to see the marks when I'm stitching it all together. Piping all now stitched all together. Seat cover ready to go on. This is the process. These are called hog ring pliers. I've got 3 different types for different applications. There's the straight ones and then 2 types of angles. Hog rings, just that's sprung loaded, they just drop into there. There's your hog rings, and that's what fixes 99% of the seats together. Just a case of impregnated in the foam. There's metal strips along here to make the profile of the seat, and then stitched in with a seat is called a listing, and then a case of joining this listing with the metal, squeeze together, that's now installed. So 3 pieces there, all along there. As you can see, that keeps that stitch line where it needs to be. So when you see a seat that's got definitions and how they're held into the foam, is because they're hog ringed in position. Next, we will be installing the cover and the foam onto the frame. That's the cover installed on the foam now. As you can see, piping's all on there as should be. Before I put this back on, when James brought it in, he pointed out that on this particular range they've got some sort of little airbags here which give you sort of lumbar support, which inflate and deflate. James pointed out that they're not working, so if I could sort of investigate, see what was going on. I've come round to the back, so what you've got there is, in this bag there's a little compressor which feeds to this here, which then the 2 pipes out, so that compressor in to this switch gear here, 2 pipes out which go to both bags. So on investigation, pulled the compressor out of the bag and realised just here has snapped off. So the compressor, that little plastic piece there which is in rubber pipe, should be fixed to the end of there, but it's snapped off. We have repaired it. First of all, ground it flat, drilled it out, cut the end off the washer jet joiner, super glued it in, epoxy 2-part to make it strong, and then I decided to cut the end off the pipe which had the broken piece in it, and then basically put that in some boiling water to soften it up, just to push it over so there was less force on it. So that's going to go back in. We put it all back together. That's the seat all back together. Side bolster repaired. Piping completely replaced all the way. There's the original piping there, with just that little bit of damage, so all that work for that.
This seat still has a lot of work left to do that we will do in-house, so really good clean. We'll re-dye that, bring it up to a standard where it looks pretty much new.
And that was the broken piece inside the little compressor,
yeah,
which makes the lumbars deflate,
Yes.
inflate.
Still a little bit of work to do on that one that we will do in-house, but that's shaping up very nicely. Well, I hope you've found this little tour of Chris's workshop interesting. If you have any interior work, any custom work that you need doing, or certainly any repair work on your Range Rover, Chris is your man. I know he probably doesn't like me saying this, but I think he's a bit of a magician. The stuff that he produces is just really amazing. I'll put his company name in the video description below, so you can check out Chris's work there.